So I told you last month that this month in the newsletter, we were going to talk about lending, loans, and how that's going to affect you. I oftentimes work with Guaranteed Rate or refer clients to Guaranteed Rate who don't have normal W-2 income, are self-employed, don't want to put 20 or 30% down. So today we're going to go in, we're going to talk to Rob, and we're going to understand what's going on with the Fed this year, how that's going to affect rates, and what that does to buyers and sellers in this market this year. Let's go talk to Rob. We're here with Rob Spinosa at Guaranteed Rate. And Rob, one of the questions that I'm getting from all of my clients is everyone's heard the buzz. The Fed is raising interest rates. What does that look like in terms of what's going to happen to mortgage rates this year?
So the Fed's really got its hands tied. They're going to have to raise rates this year. I think a lot of people have thought that inflation would be moderated as the economy got back online, the pandemic receded into the rearview mirror. But now we're in 2022 and economic reports are good, employment's been good. Fed's got a dual mandate, maximize sustainable employment and keep inflation in check. And that second part's what got the Fed really concerned about where rates need to be. And I think we're going to see a 0.5% increase now in March at their March meeting, and there'll be 6 more meetings after that. Now, what the Fed does on the Fed funds rate doesn't necessarily translate to mortgage rates. So we don't know where mortgage rates will go, but it's hard to predict they'll go anywhere but up over the course of this year.
Okay, so given that information, give me the example of what that looks like. If I'm a $2 million buyer putting 20% down, how does that look for me today versus what could potentially be at the end of the year with the predicted interest rate hike?
So if the Fed raises rates, how do we translate to the real estate market? I think the best way to do it is looking at a mortgage. At the beginning of the year, January, we started out rates were about 3% on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Right now, in anticipation of the Fed making moves, rates are trending about 3.5%. So if that buyer could have bought a $2 million home back in January with a 20% down payment, that same buyer at 3.5% rate would see an approximately $350, almost $400 increase to their monthly payment. How does that work in terms of real estate prices? Now, if that buyer purchased back in January and they were looking at a $2 million house, that payment increase would feel equivalent to buying a $2.1 million house. So it's translating, that 0.5% rate increase is translating to about $100,000 additional on the price. That's the affordability quotient with interest rates and the changes that could come as the Fed raises rates. And if they continue to raise rates, rates trend up towards 4, roughly an equivalent relationship. So another $300, $400 on top of that payment would erode that buying power by about another 100K.
Ouch. I think the last pressing question on people's mind is what are the different types of loan products that you're seeing and what's kind of the most popular that people are going to today and why?
When the market changes like it does now, when rates are moving up, when everything's in flux, obviously we're coming off of a different economy into a new one. We don't know exactly where that's going to go, but you start to see a shift in product too. So whereas everyone in 2020 and 2021 was perfectly at ease with a 30-year fix, you might see some of those buyers now migrate towards ARM loans to try and recapture those lower rates. So we see that sort of thing happen when rates rise. The other thing you'll start to see as the real estate market shifts is a request from buyers to, can they explore down payment options? Is it possible to put less than 20% down as they begin to struggle with different aspects of the finances of it? They'll seek out other ways to do it aside from a 20% down payment 30-year fix, for example.
And that's something that you offer is the 10% down?
Yeah, we'll do even 5% down on some jumbo product. And where the challenge comes and why they need to be working with an agent who really knows the market is it's difficult to get into contract when you're putting less down and competing against buyers who may have a larger down payment or be all cash buyers. So that's where the rubber meets the road when you start talking about different types of loan products.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rob. Really appreciate your insight. And you guys, if you have any further interest, I'm going to attach Rob's information so that you can follow up with him.